What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition and MC that writes fiction back at her with another reaction. This one is from Fantastic Hip Hop. How Kendrick Lamar just revealed when his album is dropping. So this is dope. But hey, OG members and new members, what's good with y'all? How are y'all doing? What y'all got planned for this week coming up? If you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. If you're watching this, hey, you might hear a lot of YouTubers saying this, but the likes, the comments helps with pushing the video. 90% of these videos don't get seen by the subscribers according to the data and different things like that. So if you are a subscriber, definitely make it known. And if you're new and like the videos, then definitely comment, even critiques, different things like that. But this is the $1,000,000 question, it seems like. When is Kendrick dropping the album? And so Fantastic Hip Hop seems like he knows. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Now, as this year in hip hop continues, it's safe to say that there is nothing people are more excited for than whatever is going to come from Kendrick Lamar next. And as
That's
for
a dope
confirmation
guess.
from his close collaborators
What
and
video
friends
was
to what he
this?
has lined out on his most recent track, we now know that Kendrick does have an album coming and that it's going to be a significant one, even for his standards. But now, as we wait and speculate on when this project is coming and when Kendrick is going to kick off the rollout in full gear, recently there has been more information that we have gotten a hold of that has unraveled a lot surrounding the mystery of when Kendrick is going to come back next and when he is going to be releasing what is easily becoming one of the most anticipated rap albums of the entire century at this point. And now, before we can get into this new information and understand when Kendrick is going to be coming at the time that he does, we need to look at the definitive timeline of where everything is headed for Kendrick Lamar as a whole, which of course has one key date that is the centerpiece to all of this, which is February 9th, 2025, which is of course when Super Bowl 59 will be going down in New Orleans and Kendrick will be performing to over 100 million people live on television in the biggest musical event of the year at the halftime show. And now, of course, this date is at the core of everything for Kendrick because this moment will enable him with all of the eyes and the attention on it.
Ooh, man, yo, that is crazy. When I think about just reach when it comes to musicians and music in general, like I think the largest amount of people I might have performed for might have been something like 300 or 400, and that to me was a lot, let alone some of the tens of thousands that a lot of these people, these artists perform in front of. And I'm just all like, when you look at this, an estimated 123.7 million viewers as far as for this year's Super Bowl that passed in February is crazy. And 120.3 million viewers was just on CBS alone. Oh my goodness, that joy is crazy. So with Kendrick dropping this on this day, it would seem very interesting as far as to drop it on that day, but afterwards seems like it would be better. There's a argument that can be made as far as dropping it before, but if I'm not mistaken, Grammys are prior. So it's just all like it really would only seem like, unless it's dropping before the year's end, which it definitely could, and then whatever certain tracks off of that, plus Not Like Us, maybe a couple of other things would be cool as far as for that performance. But okay, we'll see what else Fantastic is cooking, because what I might do is I might play a part of Joe Budden's talk in regards to this, because he was talking about album sales. So we'll get to that
To
here
be the
in
biggest
a
and
little
most
bit.
powerful artist and figure that he could possibly be. So everything for the rollout of this album, and for this entire era of his career for that matter, has to be perfectly aligned to this one night for Kendrick to accomplish the goals that he is shown to be very adamant about achieving on his most recent track. And so now,
Mm-hmm.
being in mind of this and understanding that at this point, beyond just Dre, Kendrick is trying to reset the very culture that dominates the hip hop and music industry today to a much more pure spot. The name of the game for him is all about the momentum he will be able to keep up, because while we
Yeah.
know Kendrick is going to have all the skill and lyrical ability to articulate these points in greater detail when he finally puts this body of work out, what he has to make sure is that he's maintaining this level of dominance that only few other rappers have ever been able to achieve in terms of how much power the sheer appearance of their presence can ignite. So now, with
Which
this
is
in mind,
crazy.
we can draw together that even after the 6 songs Kendrick released and was featured on between March and September, he still has more tracks in the tuck that he will be putting out, because as Not
Yeah.
Like Us is finally starting to lose steam in terms of the standard it has been at for months, which has been a guaranteed top 5 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, as it's
Yeah.
been sitting at the bottom of the top 10 recently and only seems like it's going to move down as a lot of other artists are releasing new music right now.
Which
The power
is
that record
which is
commands
fair.
on the charts will start to wane, and now with the point we are at in this year currently, it almost seems like Kendrick knew it was going to start to decline around this time, and that this is exactly what he wanted, because before the end of the year, he is planning to deliver what may end up being multiple genre-stopping moments that will end up building up the hype for this
I
record
could
and
definitely
everything to
see
come
that.
even more than it already has been.
And you know, this momentum talk is very, very interesting because you we live in a time frame where it's just like if you're not constantly doing something, which again, for Kendrick to the last track other than Watch the Party Die being Not Like Us, and between Not Like Us to Watch the Party Die, it felt like he still had that presence within like the whole summer was pretty much his. And what was crazy was it seemed like every time Drake would drop, Kendrick would be brought up again, which would then like go back to like bringing up those numbers because nothing that has Drake has recently dropped has been able to do anything, you know. And what's even more crazy that I've seen is the fact that this beef has allowed people to go back into the older stuff. And I bring up the whole momentum thing and all that because recently there was a post about Jay-Z being number something 15 or something 16 as far as pop artists, and people was, you know, basically like downplaying all of what Jay-Z has done. He's had his questionable moments. The whole I'm a bite it out a writer, like that whole thing, like we're talking about, Drake doing that. There's a whole video of Jay-Z doing the same thing, just like taking lyrics or whatever. But we cannot deny his impact. We cannot deny what he's been able to bring forth and what he's been doing in hip hop in general. So for people to act like he doesn't have a spot there is weird to me. But a lot of it is this newer generation. It's like, when was the last time Jay-Z dropped a track? I know he recently, maybe a year or two ago, was on maybe a feature, but when has he dropped a track? And so in this day and age, unfortunately, unless you're doing that and showing some sort of relevancy, not to say what he's dropped, especially with stuff like 444, doesn't have impact. It's just because he hasn't dropped anything new or anything or been in the future. Because again, when he does feature on something, like people talk, but it's out with the wind. And a lot of people downplay based on this motion, based on cloud, based on all this different stuff. And on top of that, I think he's receiving a hate because of this whole Kendrick Super Bowl and everything situation. It's crazy because all day today, I was listening to that We Made a remix with Jay Electronica and Jay-Z. And Jay-Z's literally going at freaking Drake. He's like, sorry, Mr. Jay-Z, for so much I caused. See the me rap about things I really got. See the yo, Jay-Z he killed that verse, man. Like, oh, he killed that verse. But it's the whole motion thing is just it's crazy because either you're someone like a Jay-Z who's doing other stuff other than music, but it's such a staple of as far as hip hop. And there, I see a lot of that disrespect. Even the whole thing with What's the Dirt. If y'all haven't seen that and the company man, go see that. Yo, What's the Dirt crashed the F out. He did the Family Matters, which was like over a 2 hour breakdown. It didn't need to be. And then, oh my goodness, he was reaching for the stars, saying that Drake had said the N word like 37 times because he's 37 years old, to basically say that for every year that he's been alive. Like, but then after that, the company man gave him some, some criticism. What's the Dirt crashed the F out. Now he did apologize, but it was this other YouTuber was saying like the damage has already been done. So there's a lot of this disrespect going on towards hip hop, towards the people that paved the way. And to me, it's just interesting. And that needs to, it's crazy that that whole motion notion has to play out because it's just all like if Kendrick drops something, he did the Watch the Party Die. People are still talking about that. People are still going back to Not Like Us. People are still going back to Six with Light, and people are still going back to his older stuff. Now, I see what Fantastic Hip Hop is saying as far as like dropping something because it's September. We got which September is almost over. So we got October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. And I could see Kendrick maybe dropping one or two tracks. Do y'all think that it would have to be like a monthly thing? Do you see another Heart series? Personally, Watch the Party Died almost sounded like a Heart series, but you know, it could not, but I do see something, it gave that energy. But I could see something like that happen. Even if he would have dropped a Heart series in the year with everything he's given us, and then going into that hypeness, get a maybe like I said, I think another video would be dope because when he did the other Heart, I think part five, and he did the whole AI thing, there was a lot of people talking about that, a lot of, stuff still going in the whatchamacallit. So that'd be dope. Even if he dropped like an unreleased album, another one, that would be cool too. Just something, or even the full broccoli track, like that joint was fire. I want to hear the whole thing. Like looking for the broccoli, I eat this thing. Like if you drop that, that would be dope. That would be dope. But let's see what all more Fantastic has to say. And this full video will be in the link.
Now, by doing this, Kendrick does not seem like he is going to release solo music. But from what we know, it's looking like he is going to be a surprise feature on other rappers' material and not just any other rappers. But the first and more obvious collab that we should be getting this year will be between Kendrick and Baby Keem, as according to Keem and the people around him, as his long-awaited album that has now been 3 years in the making, Child with Wolves, is supposed to release in 2024. While the clock is definitely ticking, Kendrick could definitely make another genre-stopping moment working alongside his own family member and PG Lang artist. And now as Kendrick's goal is to bring back hip-hop to a place where it is more pure and away from the gimmicks that have polluted the state of the genre today. Looking at the big picture of this all, it would also make a lot of sense if Keem dropped an album before Kendrick just sets everything off on his own. Because as he will have some sort of input and creative direction on what Keem is doing, this will help showcase that Kendrick's mission is so much bigger than just himself or Drake, as it will be translating the core of his message through another star in the rap game who is only growing by the second. But now beyond just this, and where the new definitive information plays into this equation, there is a feature that Kendrick has sent recently to another rapper that is going to pop off the genre in a way that will have a similar ripple effect to like that, just in terms of the shock and power play it will be for Kendrick to link up with this set of artists. And now, who I
Set
am
of
talking
artists.
about here is none other than Pusha T, as with Push,
Oh,
as he has teamed
what?
back up with his brother No Malice to reunite their legendary duo
What?
Clips for their
Oh,
first
that would be
album since
crazy.
2009, which will
That would be
also be
crazy.
entirely produced by none other than Pharrell
Oh,
Williams,
that's gonna
which
be
just with Pharrell a
crazy.
part of this, it adds even more. As Push
Oh,
was doing an
whoa,
interview and
okay.
talking about this album.
Yo, that would be that would be dope. I ain't even gonna lie because of all the history as far as with Drake, Pharrell, Drake and the clips. Now Drake, ooh, okay. I see what you're doing, Fantastic Hip Hop. That is nuts. Okay.
He confirmed that Nas, John Legend, and Stove God Cooks were going to be featured, and that he is waiting on a mystery feature from an artist that he can't name. And between how cryptic he says this and the
Oh.
smirk that Push makes, and when we look at all of the possible people that this feature could be, the only other option besides Kendrick is Jay-Z, and as they just did a song on Push's last album, it wouldn't be as big and shocking of a moment and one that needed to be this mystery.
This
when you're aware
Kendrick
of this, and then also the fact that in the background of this interview on the TV, there is a video of a fashion show playing that is taking place on a Chanel stage, which Kendrick Lamar was the co-designer of.
Whoa.
This all seems like Push is very cryptic.
That's like some manga freaking details foreshadowing. Like that joint is crazy. I'll leave the whole video for y'all to check out. But what I wanted to play was this Joe Budden, album sales thing. And let me know what y'all think about that. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Yeah. These are not singles. These are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase, all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, guys.
Hip hop niggas.
Mm-hmm.
Because now if I come out and I'm just throwing shit at a wall. If Kendrick come out and do after Not Like Us, I had him going over 500.
He do that anyway.
If he come out and
I was checking too.
If he sniffs 650 and 700, which we ain't been seeing without bundle packages.
Seriously.
And he's gonna do bundle packages. And he's gonna do bundle packages.
So you think that's contingent
You
upon
getting
when?
some PG Lang socks
Yeah.
and t-shirts and a frisbee and a lighter, nigga. He gonna play the game. And if he do anywhere between 600 and 700 day of the Super Bowl, kiss the baby.
Hold on.
Kiss the baby, buddy. There's nothing else that nobody can say to him.
Mr. Morale did what?
Yeah.
No,
Talk
this
to him.
can't be right.
Talk to him, Big Freeze.
No. This should say 177. This can't be right.
That's not right. It wasn't his highest, but it didn't do 177.
I'm pulling.
His highest, I want to say, is Damn.
Yeah,
Damn is the one that did 6+.
Oh, here, commercial.
First week.
258 for Mr. Morale.
And that's on
good.
the humbug, low,
That's
no
still
momentum.
good.
We covered that shit.
Yeah,
when
I'm
it
sorry,
dropped.
295.
Almost 300,000. That's why I wanted to play this because it's just like when I wouldn't say that if Kendrick does these numbers album wise, that is quote unquote over because that's what Joe Budden says. Joe Budden says if Kendrick sells 600K albums, it's over for Drake. It's already over for Drake. But I think that would be more of a testament. Like at this point, yes, the whole Kendrick Drake thing was an aspect, but I think can't we still be able to appreciate the artistry of Kendrick without beef being tied to it? Like we can't sit up here and act like Kendrick's music or his popularity and things like that is contingent on him starting beef. Even though a lot of people would say that, well, the control verse or the freestyle or da 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 da. that's a few moments out of a 10 plus year career with several albums, making it almost seem like he does a random beef when it's time to sell projects, and that's not the case. And even with being at almost 300,000 as far as for in this day and age, let me know in the comments, what was the last full album that you listened to recently? You know what I mean? Like people aren't, from what I've seen and experienced, unless it's something, to really dive into, aren't diving too much into it. I love albums, but even me, I think the last full album, whether an album I already heard or a new album that I've heard fully, it, it might be, I mean, other than my own stuff, but it might be Nas's album. It might have been King's Disease 3, and there's a lot of stuff that's come out between then. I still need to listen to Jid's album. Blue just dropped an album. Um, I still need to hear, if you listen to this, it's too late. Dochi's album, The Alchemist out, Larry June, Schoolboy Q's, Abstract, Ab-Souls, Eminem's album. Uh, there's a good grip of full-fledged projects I need to hear. So that's why it's just all like, even with what he sold with Mr. Morale, that's still a lot. There's barely people who. What did Lotto just recently do? What did Ice Spice? What did Megan Thee Stallion recently do? What did all these other people recently do? Did they even reach over 100K? And I'm not saying that in the sense of that's what hip hop is, boiled down to. But I'm just saying that I think that Kendrick's artistry will and has been speaking for itself, to where, hell, we even see with Mr. Morale, like, even though that may have been on the low end of his sales, it still was the top selling tour. So it might have been a low end on sales, but that then during this beef, people went back to the stuff they hear before, making those numbers go up on album sales. So it'll be interesting. What do y'all think Kendrick's gonna drop this album? Do you think it'll be before the year's end, or you think it will be near or on Super Bowl? Let me know in the comments. But Smith's Composition, an MC that writes fiction, back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video. On the road to 5K. Peace.